So earlier this week, I talked a little bit about the five things or so that can cause a deal to fall apart. One of them was financing, and there are some do's and don'ts for when you are under agreement. So I brought in an expert to talk a little bit more about that, and to talk a little bit about the interest rates for this week. So Nick Christie from CMG Home Loans is here. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what are interest rates looking like to start off with?
They actually have gone a tick or two up from the from the initial drop, so we're still in the sixes, but I would say for most conventional buyers, maybe the mid to high sixes. FHA, VA will still be in the fives somewhere.
All right, nice, nice. So, you heard the intro there. We talked a little bit earlier this week about, deals falling apart, and part of it was financing. So, somebody gets their house under agreement, and the buyers are doing, things, obviously to get themselves into their new home. What are some things that they should and should not do to make that mortgage as easy to go through as possible?
Yeah, yep. So, there are some basic things. I know there's a lot out there that a lot of buyers actually come to me and go, "Hey, I can't do this right," and I'm like, "That's not how it works." So, yeah, this is a great topic because a lot of people think they can't do a lot of the basic stuff that they can, and there's some things that they truly shouldn't do. Number one is opening up any new lines of credit. Uh, that means taking out a new car or going to the furniture place before you close and they offer you the 0% financing over 3 years. That's a credit card. And that could potentially harm you because you're adding monthly debt to your situation. And if you're tight, then that's going to hurt. If you're a buyer that has a ton of income and low debt, it might not hurt you, but avoid opening up new lines of credit. That being said, use your credit cards the way you always have if you use them wisely. We're not coming back to check. We pulled your credit. It's good for 100 as long as we don't have to repull your credit. But even if you're using your cards like you always have been, it's probably going to be very similar to when I pulled your credit originally. So you do not have to stop using your credit cards. Just make sure you use them wisely.
Gotcha. And
Um, Go
it
ahead.
takes what, typically 30 to 45 days for us to get from offer to settlement table. So it's not like you're waiting forever to do these things.
Exactly.
Yep.
Another thing, don't quit your job. Don't quit your job a few days before closing because we do have to do a verification of employment within 10 days of closing. So we definitely have had this probably twice in my career where we verified employment a few days before, quit right before that. Um, that being said, there's always a caveat to that. You can improve your job. I've had people improve their jobs under agreement all the time, as long as we can get a non-contingent offer letter stating your start date, the guaranteed income, all that stuff is very important. But I never tell my buyers not to improve their situation. As long as we can document the income, fine. It's not ideal, but definitely don't turn down a job because you're buying a house. Talk to your lender. Um, don't miss payments on your credit cards. Don't miss an auto loan payment because in that case, so we do have to repull credit because it expired. That can harm you. If your credit drops, that harms your interest rate. Probably the biggest one that comes up the most is don't deposit cash. All money needs to be verified. Your money should be in an account making you money. If not making you money, at least sitting in your savings account waiting to buy a house. You do not need mattress money, in my opinion. And if you ever go to buy a house, it's going to harm you. And don't spend your savings, obviously. Things come up. Mortgage process can be a little finicky sometimes. So you always want to keep as much as you can during that process.
Gotcha. So those are some good tips out there for buyers. Coming up, I guess next week here, we'll be into a whole new month of October, and that's crazy how quick the year is going by. So thanks again, Nick, for joining us this morning, and we'll
Absolutely.
talk to you again next week.
Have a great day.
You too.